Hi, I'm Dave Mosinski with Sly Incorporated, and today we're going to talk about envelope filter bag changes. Whether you have a reverse air dynaclone, an envelope shaker collector, or pulse clean Pacticon, much of what I will show will apply to all styles. However, I will note any variations as I go through my demonstration. Now here, I'm standing in front of a frame mock-up of a typical envelope style dust wall. Now your collector may have larger sections or even several tiers, but much of the fabrication is similar, such as dust wall pins to hold the bags in place, studs for securing dust wall clips, and an angle or channel in the back for tensioning of the bags. Now before any maintenance is done on your dust collector, make sure you perform all of your company's safety, lockout, and tagout procedures. Then take the front and rear doors off the dust collector. Loosen or cut the old eye bolts, remove the dust wall clips, and take out the old dirty filter bags. But when you do, make sure you maintain some of the hardware, such as rear mullions and bag spacers. One important step that is often neglected when people change envelope filter bags on slide dust collectors is to remove the old dust wall gasket and replace it with a new dust wall gasket, both on the top of the frame as well as on the bottom. Now, as you can see, some residue from the old dust wall gasket has remained on the frame, and this needs to be scraped off with either wire brush or putty knife prior to putting the new dust wall gasket in place. Now, once you've replaced the dust wall gaskets on both the top and the bottom of the cell, the next step is to put in your single wire cloth strip. And this is exactly what it is, a single wire sewn into the fabric. Position this on the dust wall pins on the end of the unit, and make sure that the wire in the single wire cloth strip is on the inside of the frame next to the filter bags. Once your single wire cloth strip is in position, now you're ready to install your filter bags. Before you put the filter bags into the dust collector, you have to put the rear mullion into the back of the filter bag. On Dynaclone and Pacticon bags, we actually have an independently sewn pocket for the rear mullion. On a shaker dust collector, however, we don't have that pocket, and the rear mullion has to be inserted from the top and dropped all the way to the bottom of the filter bag. What I have here is a Pacticon filter bag with, again, this independent pocket outside of the airstream. And you open up this hole at the top of the bag, or in fact it's the bottom of the bag, and install the rear mullion in this manner with the pin sticking out. Push this through into the pocket until it seats. Once it's seated, we have a hole in the middle of this bag where you can actually fish out the hook that ultimately will be connected to the eye bolt at the rear of the dust collector to provide proper tensioning on your dust filter. Now you're ready to install your envelope filter bag into your dust collector. As you can see, the rear mullion is positioned such that the pin extends through the bottom hole of the filter bag. Here's where you're going to need an assistant at the rear of the dust collector. Begin by putting the filter bag into the dust collector and attaching the top ear to the top dust wall stud. The person at the rear of the unit will have already positioned the eye bolt, spring, washer, and nut assembly, and will fish the S-hook off of the back mullion and connect to the eye bolt. With the eye bolt still loosely secured in the rear, the person in the front can now put the ear, or the lower ear, over the lower dust wall stud and begin putting the flaps over the dust wall pins. The next step is to install the first front mullion. Put the mullion pins through the holes on the filter bags from the top down to the bottom. Once all the pins are through the flap, grab the front mullion and twist it into position between the first two studs. Installation of the second bag is identical to that of the first. Insert the bag into the cell, place the ear over the top dust wall stud. As before, have your assistant at the rear of the dust collector connect the eye bolt to the rear mullion. Place the lower ear over the lower dust wall stud and fold the flap of the second bag over the flap of this first bag and insert these pins of the front mullion pins through the second bag. Continue this assembly procedure for all the bags in this section. Again, putting the front mullion pins through the flap, the holes in the flap, top to bottom. Once inserted, twist the front mullion into place Again, between the two studs on the top and two studs on the bottom. Now once you reach the edge of your dust collector, or this cell, one of two things will occur. It'll either be the outside wall, or you're going to be at the end of one section and the beginning of another section. If it happens to be the outside wall, you'll take a single wire cloth strip, place it over the dust wall pins against the frame, and then take the flap of the last bag and place the flap of the last bag over these dust wall pins. If on the other hand happens to have an adjoining cell, take the double wire cloth strip, again placing over the dust wall pins, flap of the last bag over the pins as well, and then take the double wire cloth strip and place over the pins on the adjoining cell. Now if you're rebagging a shaker collector or a Pacticon, as we are today, you're ready to put your dust wall clips on, insert your spacers, and put the final tension on the filter bags at the rear of the collector. If on the other hand you're rebagging a Dynaclone, you're going to have to put some armor guard components on the face of the bags to protect the bags from the traveler as it goes back and forth. We have a single wire armor guard, we have a channel that goes over all the individual bags, and we also have a double wire or armor guard. Now, we are rebagging a Pacticon today, so we don't need these. But if you are, following this video, please visit our website and see armor guard installation video. Since we are rebagging a Pacticon, we can now install the dust wall clips over the dust wall studs. Place a dust wall clip and secure with a nut on each dust wall clip, both top and bottom, and secure with a wrench. Now that we've tightly secured the dust wall clips in place, insert the spacers into the bags. For Pacticon bags and shaker bags, each one will require 2 of these spacers. For a Dynaclone, 6 spacers are required. Now we're actually ready to tension the bags. And the way that we do that is we draw the nut down on the eye bolt until the compression or the dimension of the compressed spring reaches a specific distance. On a Pacticon PC100, it's 1 3/4 inches. On a 200 series Pacticon, a Dynaclone, and a shaker filter, it's actually 3.5 inches. Now that all your bags are properly tensioned, do a final overall inspection and replace the front and the rear access panels. Now during the changeout, you may have noticed some broken or worn out components. Spacers, eye bolts, springs, front, rear mullions. Now all of these are available for overnight delivery from our aftermarket department. However, prior to a changeout, we do recommend having a small percentage of these wear components on hand. Once the final inspection is complete, visit our website for our startup video. And don't forget, visit us at slyinc.com for all your air pollution control needs.